They're not people, just programming. The Creator was written and directed by Gareth Edwards, who did the 2014 Godzilla movie, as well as the severely, massively underappreciated, way too hated on Star Wars Rogue One. Absolutely love that goddamn movie. A great entry in the long-running timeline since Disney bought the property from George Lucas. Said, here's a whole bunch of money. We want this stuff. Okay, you guys go have fun. And they've made a bunch of Star Wars stuff since then, including Rogue One, that again, really deserves a second and third look. Really, really good. I'm not saying it's the absolute best Star Wars movie ever, but it got way too much goddamn hate. And also, it was a great send-off for Carrie Fisher, because it came out, around the time that her unfortunate death happened. Rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. She had nothing to do with the Creator, but just, again, Rogue One really deserves a lot of love. This is also written by Chris Weitz, who did Ants. That's with a Z for maximum coolageness. I don't even really think that's a word from the 90s. Remember when DreamWorks did Ants, and you could take a look at the cast and see how that cast, or at least some members of that cast, might have been a little bit absolutely problematic, but yeah, it was CGI ants, and it wasn't very good. It was really fucking unfunny. But nevertheless, Nutty Professor 2 was also something that Chris did, as well as About a Boy. Hugh Grant, had great chemistry with the young lad who was the boy in About a Boy. Obviously, if it was about anything else, like maybe a slug, then About a Slug probably wouldn't have worked as well, but maybe it would have worked better than the Italian or the French-directed movie Slugs. It was actually about killer slugs, believe it or not. Also, Golden Compass. Nicole Kidman was in it. She looked great. She had a line that said, "Give it to me." And what guy, and statistically most women, wouldn't want to give it to Nicole Kidman? Nevertheless, he also did Rogue One. So at least we got the Rogue One team back together. And also the live-action adaptation that Disney did of Pinocchio that they shoved out on Disney Plus with Tom Hanks in a starring role, $150 million, and Robert Zemeckis directing it. And we're just covering all the classics and the modern stuff that may be seen as classic. Okay, but that being said, despite the here and there nature of Chris's work, he's got work. That's important. And obviously, if you get the director of Rogue One here with an $80 million budget and some ingenuity and a pretty good cast, in all honesty, you have John David Washington, who was in Tenet, that I still haven't seen, heard some good things, and Amsterdam. John David Washington was a lot better than the material that he got in Amsterdam. Then again, almost everybody was better than the material in Amsterdam. He plays Joshua, who has basically is living in the year 2070, and he has his issues. He's suffered loss. He's dealing with stuff. And also they're in the middle of an AI and, human war and everything. New Asia, basically the East, they are living with AI and appreciate AI and everything, and they're ahead of the goddamn curve. Meanwhile, we over here in the West are full on dicks. We're squishing up AI bots. We don't want to have anything to do with the AI bots. Why? Because something happened about 10 years prior that led to something really, really bad. Oh my God, how could this possibly goddamn happen? Something happened where a bad event took place. I'm trying to keep it as spoiler-free as possible if you haven't seen the trailer, and judging by the reaction to myself seeing this movie, some people didn't even know that this was out, hadn't even seen a trailer. Weird, because I saw a lot of trailers. Then again, I've seen a lot of movies in theaters. And yes, Joshua, he is tasked with basically joining the military, not even the resistance. They're trying to win the war against the AI. They have this giant, elongated, almost, halo-like sword. In fact, that's actually kind of what it looks like. That is a great military base. It took them years to invent, but now they can do strategic strikes and everything, and they must use that as a way to find this weapon that the AI bots have created. And it turns out that this AI bot is in the form of a young child, played by Madeline Una Wallace. I'm pretty certain I probably totally butchered that. I do apologize. Young child actress. And from there, Joshua must decide if his loyalties lie with destroying the AI or if he wants to protect this young child for some reason despite hating AI. Okay, that's about as spoiler-free as you're going to get. If you have seen the trailer, then you've seen a lot of moments that will play out in the movie. Obviously, that's the whole point of a trailer, but a pretty good cast here. I mean, seriously, Gemma Chen, who is in Crazy Rich Asians, something that I need to go back and rewatch and actually review. She plays Maya. And then you have Allison Janney, who has been terrific in a lot of stuff. She plays a colonel. You have Ken Watanabe. Ken Watanabe in this. Let Them Fight. Ken Watanabe has been tremendous in so many things. And Ralph Ineson is in this, who is in The Witch and The Green Knight. And Veronica Ungo, who was in The Old Guard. And she is gorgeous. Good grief, she is gorgeous. And various other people. I mean, there's a lot of recognizable faces here. And also some nameless, faceless robots. Especially once they get blown up. Because we have a lot of action scenes and everything. And other phrases and Nomad and all these technologically advanced, crazy AI things with futuristic stuff and all this talking. It's way out in the future, even though, honestly, 2065, 2070, whatever year it takes place in, really isn't that far off. I may not live to see either of those years, but it's scary to think that we're really only just about 40 years away from 2065. So from there, we have a sci-fi movie with action and emotion and the bond between a guy that hates AI but forms a bond with this AI child that has magical powers and can shut off electricity and do all this stuff. And then he must fight back against these evil forces. He must find what's going on and solve this mystery before they're all history, the creator tales, woohoo. So, let's get into the rest of the movie. How did I feel about it? Didn't like it. Didn't like it one bit. At all. That's pretty much your, baseline right there. I will tell you why I didn't like it before I get into full-on spoilers. There are attempts to do emotional depth. The problem is, this movie, as visually stunning as it is, Gareth Edwards and the camera work, the visual effect, it looks rich, it looks cool. The big problem is, no depth to the characters. If the characters had any less depth, they would be in a teaspoonful of water. They wouldn't even reach the bottom of a teaspoonful of water. That's how much depth they lack. It's not a fault of the acting. The actors do the best they can, but bang, we're over here. Bang, we're over here. We have these relationships that have been formed, and all this weird stuff's going on. And I'm sorry, but just you don't care whether somebody's way up here on the cast or somebody just has a few scenes. Things happen, people blow up, people die, weird things happen. That's really all that goes on. The action scenes get to the point where they just get mind-numbing, and that's around the 45-minute mark. There is a point about 40 to 45 minutes in, roughly, that just lost me. I just checked out. And it's partly a scene from a trailer, and also just none of the characters that are side characters in this really feel like people. This doesn't feel like a live world. It doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel like it matters in the grand scheme of things. It just feels like it literally feels like it was designed by AI. And apparently is an idea from Gareth Edwards. And maybe this was the plan to start this and possibly create a brand new franchise, because the way they set a lot of this up is it's a lot of setup and a lot of things to set up a potential franchise. But then also other things happen during the movie where you're not sure where else they could go. I mean, can they really go up more than they did when they, achieve new heights, literally and figuratively, as far as, as far as height and everything, as far as going up in the atmosphere? I mean, really, can they go any further than that? They could go into the Earth's core and see if there are AI bots there. But yeah, it has some, I guess, some halfway decent social commentary, but it also reminded me of District 9, and I just want to go on record again. Fuck District 9. Fuck Neil Blomkamp for making that. Goddamn, it was terrible. District 9 was terrible, and this was another example of a movie that looks great and has no substance. None at all. It did make me laugh with some footage from a Starman movie, an Invasion of the Neptune Men, that made the Rick Trax and MST3K fan in me absolutely lose it. And none of the twists had any emotional impact. Nothing was shocking. And that's fine if you have predictability, as long as you have good characters. They don't. Everybody gets out of particular situations really quickly, and oh shit, this is happening. I keep attracting this danger. Oh shit, this stuff that's going on up here, maybe we should move to the right, and just keep pressing right until, we get to a button prompt or whatever. I felt like I should be controlling this with a PS5 controller. And also, it has a really rushed third act. I mean, a very rushed third act. This is a beefy 133 minutes. And yes, that's with end credits, but still, this movie could have accomplished plenty by cutting out probably about 20 goddamn minutes, and even then, it would have felt like a goddamn slog. The open didn't... None of these scenes have any depth. None of them. Just stuff happens, stuff blows up, we move on. And that would be all right if the movie was expedient. But it's not. It wastes its talented... It totally wastes the talented cast it has. It doesn't have anything... It doesn't have anything new to offer. If you've seen Terminator, you've seen this. If you've seen, stuff like... If you've seen some Star Wars movies, you've seen this. From the guy that directed Rogue One, he also did, like I said, the 2014 Godzilla. The 2014 Godzilla fucking sucked. I hate it because it relied more on the human characters rather than the animals, whereas the other Godzilla movies at least sort of got it with the monsters. And by the time we get to these big, epic, firefights and all this stuff, what is left? What is left? Nothing. Nothing. The special effects, the shots and everything, they look great. It's all hollow. It's shallow. It doesn't fucking matter. None of it matters. And also the twist as far as, the creation of this child, Alfie, Alpha Omega, basically, is a thing written on the child's ears because they have the weird ear thing here and stuff like that where, it's their circuitry in their ears. And yeah, the designs are cool. What do you have? What else do you have? What else do you have, the creator? You don't have anything. And the fact as to who the creator was, why the title was the way it was, I'm sorry, was anybody shocked by it? Was anybody shocked? Genuinely, was anybody fucking shocked? There was, chapter breaks. There was a creator, that was the title, but also a chapter break. There was a child, there was the friend, and then there was the mother. And various things like that. And yeah, it looked cool and that was it. That's really all I have to say there. It was not good at all. I pretty much hated this. I was falling asleep multiple times. Like I was having to kick myself awake. I was having to take a shot of a Kickstart energy drink that, they sell at the theater I'm at, or that I went to, and that was good because I needed that caffeine to stay awake. I mean, for a movie that has all these advantages and this great cast and this great look, it has nothing. It has nothing else to offer. It's surface level, and that's it. And unfortunately, it is a wasted opportunity. In fact, I think everybody, that tried to put this thing together probably had to be wasted to think, God, we're just doing this and we're releasing this. And granted, it probably could have cost a whole lot more money if they hadn't had the ingenuity. This probably could have cost close to $200 million. With the advertising, probably cost another 20, so probably around $100 million. Is it going to make that? It's being released at the end of September. They didn't have a lot of faith in this. They probably should have released this at maybe sometime in April if they had it finished. It might have had a better chance to make money. By the time word of mouth gets out about this, I'm sorry, this did not work for me at all. I am going to get into spoilers, and trust me, these spoilers will not take very long. I'm just ranting and raving about this goddamn thing because it's so disappointing to watch a movie that had so much potential. I was so excited when I saw the trailer. I was like, all right, I'm in. Cool. All the people I mentioned. And even the little girl who plays Alfie, she does her best, but none of it ends up mattering. It just doesn't. It's in theaters if you want to check it out. It'll probably be on streaming pretty soon. Let's get into spoilers. 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. That's your warning right there. Okay, so Joshua and Maya are together. That's Gemma Chen. And then suddenly some people show up. Bots, Ken Watanabe and various others and everything. And they capture this one guy. And it turns out that Joshua is actually a double agent. He's working with the Americans. And then Gemma Chen, freaks out. She's pregnant. She freaks out and runs while there's this firefight going on this beach. And then this big explosion happens because a Nomad does these laser things and does it. Boom. So yeah, Gemma Chen is dead. And then we flash forward. That was 2065. We flash forward to 2070. And it turns out that Joshua has a robot arm and also a robot leg, which he had actually before this explosion happened. Because there was this nuke detonated in LA, and it was by the AI. It was actually by human error, because the humans did that in the West as a way to wage war against AI. There's this brief scene with Joshua and some redhead, I didn't catch her name, where this AI is trying to act like, oh, I have a family, this kind of stuff, and they cut his cord. Oh, that sounds so human. No, they're human, not program, or they're not human, they're programming. I mean, and he joins Allison Janney's character. Obviously, this is meant as a way to get him to bond with Alfie. And by the way, I'm just going to say right now, Alfie is an AI copy of the child that him and Maya were going to have. If you didn't get that, then I don't know what the fuck. If you didn't get that well before they revealed that, I don't know what to goddamn tell you. And that mission goes tits up. He takes Alfie, and they go off, and Alfie uses powers like shutting off the electricity and doing this stuff. And he bonds with Alfie and wants to find Maya because he sees this footage that the military shows him before, Ralph Ineson and Allison Janney's character. Hey, Maya's still alive. Also, there's this phrase called Nirmata. Not reaching Nirvana, but reaching Nirmata. So that's the idea is, oh, you got to reach Nirmata or whatever, and that's the person that's the actual weapon. No, the weapon's a child, but then it turns out that actually Nirmata is Maya. Big fucking shot. She's in this temple. They eventually get to that whole thing. More of these firefights happen. They have to get Alfie up to the Nomad to blow this shit up and bring an end to the war. Because the robots just want to live in peace. They don't want to be targeted by this giant military halo sword reach around type thing that they got up there. They just want to live in peace. And robots get shot, none of it matters. People get blown up, none of it matters. The good guys, the bad guys, it doesn't really fucking matter. None of this matters. Allison Janney, who's a terrific actress, is totally wasted here. And the writing is dog shit. I'm sorry, the writing is dog shit. Oh, they try to have this emotional thing between Joshua and Alfie. Because at one point, there's this, during the earlier mission, one of the robots that, one of the AI programs, after this besieging, Joshua takes Alfie. The other military people try to escape. One of the robots shoots an explosive device on one of the girls, and she gets blown up in the little area. And then there's one that's left alive, barely, that Joshua tries to help. But that that explosion comes back a little bit later on, or that explosive device, rather. Ken Watanabe is friends with Joshua, says, you can take it to Maya, but, after what you did and everything, all's forgiven, by the way, because you got us blown up and everything, and you were actually a double agent and doing all this stuff. Or maybe, he was a double, triple, secret, quadruple agent. I don't know, and I don't really fucking care at this point. The more I think about this movie, the more pissed off I get, because, again, so much potential was wasted, squandered. Hit down into the goddamn ground. Just pound that potential into the goddamn ground until it's just putty, and not even putties from the Power Rangers. What they basically end up doing is they have all this set up. Allison Janney's character uses this device thing to take the brain pattern, the brain activity of the now dead soldier Joshua tried to save, but now him and Alfie are taking off to go visit a friend of his. She puts it in this one AI bot, this simulant, or whatever the fuck they goddamn call it, doesn't fucking matter, and gets just enough answers out of him. But since his brain activity was basically halted, they got 30 seconds of it. So they can do this, and they can scan it and put it on this thing and whatever. And then later, Allison Janney's character tries to do that with Gemma Chen's character. And then Ken Watanabe ends up shooting her with an explosive device. And then Alfie does something like this and just stops it. But then Ken Watanabe's character gets shot through the chest, but he's seemingly fine later. And then Allison Janney's character blows up because, Alfie says, nah, fuck it, we're just going to let that blow up. Has the power to destroy the goddamn world and just does cliched bullshit. So they take Gemma Chen's memories and are going to take it up to Nomad, because guess what? They're also doing AI stuff on Nomad, despite not wanting to have anything to do with AI. They'll just scan models And here is Gemma Chan. Maya, oh my god, Mother is here. During this whole time on the goddamn Nomad, Ralph Ineson cannot get anything done. Completely ineffectual. All these missiles are going to be launched before they blow the Nomad up just to take care of the rest of the AI. Here's my question, though. If they have the programs for the AI and can make more and everything, if they blow up the Nomad, then what are you doing? You're not going to have much of an advantage there. This is where it gets really goddamn messy because there's a copy of Maya up there, and Joshua just wants to see Maya again. There is this one funny moment a little bit earlier on where there's this explosive device thrown on by this robot onto this giant tank thing, and it gets shot, and then the monkey takes a little control and just one of those weird simians that's over there in one of the Far East countries and just blows it up. That was like one of the few halfway decent, moments, which aren't many. And Josh was trying to hang off all this stuff and trying to stop these missiles and all this going on because Alfie's controlling the ship. Instead of going to the moon, they get up to the goddamn space station. Do you get it? Do you get it? And then they end up just basically, Alfie gets to the control room, does all this stuff, while the 10-minute countdown's going, finds a copy of Maya, inserts the memories. Maya doesn't quite revive quick enough. And then something happens where there's this weird tentacle creature thing that does all this. And ends up trying to get Alfie. That doesn't work. Joshua manages to fight it off after getting his oxygen restored because he was almost fucked. But the door won't open. And oh no, Alfie can't help her father. And then her father does this and releases the AirPod, or the escape pod. I would have liked to have rather had AirPods, and I could have listened to something else other than this bullshit dialogue. And Alfie goes down to the ground, and then the ship's blowing up. But Joshua's got time to wander around, sees Gemma Chan. Maya, I'm so happy to see you. And then they blow up. Seemingly, we don't actually see them blow up. So they could have been sealed in a particular part of a ship, and maybe they're down there. Maybe we'll get the creator too. Why the fuck are we making another one of these boogaloo? And Alfie's all crying because Alfie has saved the day. Yeah, you know what could have saved my day? Not wasting 2 hours and 13 minutes of my life, plus driving back and forth, watching this shit. Initially I was going to be a lot kinder to it. The more I thought about it, the more I just hate this. I hate this movie. It looks great. The actor certainly tried, but it is hollow. You could put a 500-piece puzzle together really slowly and not miss shit. F. It gets an F. This might actually be one of the worst movies of the goddamn year. And I know I've said that a lot, but this might actually end up making the list. Every advantage, and they fuck it up. Hollow bullshit, bland characters and everything, and they really fell asleep a whole lot. I'm done. F. Agree, disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rickland. I'll see you soon.